Welcome back to the Popcorn Hour. I'm Matt, this is James, and today we're discussing The Smashing Machine. So,
Do you want to go first? What you watched?
yeah, not a lot,
Okay.
honestly. I watched Peacemaker season finale, and I have some thoughts, but we'll discuss that on Friday because I have a lot. You also haven't seen it, so
No, I saw the first. I don't even know where I got to. I think I watched the first 5 minutes, and then I woke up, and then it said episode finished, and then I went to class.
Okay. I started watching Batman and Robin just so I could go to sleep. It was very easy for me to fall asleep. But yeah, other than that, and Smashing Machine, of course, but I haven't really had any interest in watching a whole lot. Watched a lot of wrestling this weekend. So that was about it.
So technically, I did watch Peacemaker. I wasn't conscious, but I watched that for 5 seconds. Obviously, the Smashing Machine, and then did I watch anything before that? No, and then I watched Roof Man, the Channing Tatum movie that just came out, and I've got a lot of thoughts about this movie. I didn't think it would be very good, like at all. I just thought it'd be kind of like a fun watch. I knew it happened like in Charlotte, like where I'm from, but I didn't like know like how much, like, or like specifically where. So I went to visit one of my friends in North Carolina, and we watched it. And before we went, we just kind of like went around, like where I used to live, and one of the they filmed it apparently. So they filmed it basically where we lived, and it took place in Mecklenburg County.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it a lot. I loved the movie. It was awesome, but it was really weird seeing the filming locations because we were just driving around town, and we were like, "Oh wait, that's that. Like it was the Carolina place or the Pineville Mall. Like they filmed there.
Oh, okay.
And a Red Lobster outside of it. We were like, "Oh, we literally just saw that like 30 minutes ago." And CMPD was the one, like they arrested him and stuff.
Yeah.
But at one point during the movie, my friend looked over at me because he's spoiler-ish. Yeah, but it's a spoiler, but not that big of a spoiler. He's like, a dentist office burns down. And we didn't know what year this took place. And he just looks over at me and goes, "My dentist office burnt down. Or my dentist burnt down." And then we looked it up after, but the movie took place in 2004.
Oh, okay.
And the Toys R Us that he was in was the one that we went to all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's funny is like we went there like mom and dad went there like a year or two after all that happened.
Yeah. I'm trying to
get stuff. They got baby formula for me there.
Oh. I'm trying to like think of where exactly.
I remember
I don't really remember.
I remember we went there like right when Lego Batman 3 came out. I remember that really well for some reason. And I remember Wanda took me there.
Yeah. That's a nice little connection. I think that probably would have made the movie better.
Yeah, it definitely made it better for us because we were like, "Oh, this is literally..."
You did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme?
Yeah, I was like, we did that because at one point, like, you can see the mall in the background, and we were there 30 minutes prior, and we were like, hey. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. I give it 4 stars, I think. But yeah, it's right at 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours and 6 minutes. But it felt like a 4-hour movie in a good way. Like, it just felt so long. And I remember on Thursday, I think, or Friday, Mom said that she didn't think that like Channing Tatum was the right casting because the whole shtick about the guy is that he was like so charismatic and nice, and Channing Tatum did a perfect job. Like he did amazing.
That's good.
But,
nice.
I really liked it a lot. I think you'd like it too.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's get into The Smashing Machine. So, brief overview. It was released a couple weeks ago. Director, writer, editor is Benny Safdie.
Yep.
It's a biopic sports drama, and the settings is 1997 to 2000. So only 3 years for a biopic. Normally it's 20, 30 years.
But the first scene takes place in 97, and that's the only one.
And that's the only one, yeah.
And then
then
it cuts to 99.
Yeah, so technically it's only 2 years. But the summary of this movie is a biographical portrait of Mark Kerr, one of the most dominant and troubled figures in early mixed martial arts. The film charts his rise through the violent chaos of the early UFC and Pride circuits, his battle with opioid addiction, and his fraught relationship with his partner Dawn, framed through an emotionally detached, fragmented lens. The film leans more into internal struggle and then external victory. So the cast: Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays Mark Kerr. Emily Blunt plays his partner Don Staples. You have supporting cast figures: Ryan Bader as Mark Coleman, Bass Rutten as himself, and then a couple other real life MMA figures who portrayed minor roles, some cameos, and things like that. So yeah, what's your first thoughts?
So going into it, I watched Good Time a few days prior because I watched the first like 20 minutes of it before on a flight, and then something happened to where I couldn't finish it. But so I kind of went with the mindset of like, oh, this is a Safdie movie, and yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was really good. And I do think if you don't like the movie, you didn't understand it, and you don't understand Safdie as a director. But if you did understand it and didn't like it, then I don't know what's wrong with you.
What do you mean, Benny Safdie as a director? Like, what does he do differently that some people might not like?
So he kind of leans away from the cinematic perspective that movies put you through with all of the backstory, all of whatever, like the backstory, stuff like that. And he kind of just, it's almost like you're watching a full story through a window, and you're just getting a little segment of these people's lives. You're just kind of almost like I guess you could say it's like a friendship. Like you're just seeing someone's life for that period of time, and then that's it. It almost feels more like a found footage or like a documentary, his like style. Well, him and Josh, but it's like almost so unconventional that it's conventional. That doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. But he's the best way I can describe it is just like a window. Like you're just getting a glimpse into their lives. No backstory, no like it's strange.
Yeah. No, I like the time frame that they use. It's very short, which means you can focus in on that, where I feel like most biopics, they cover a huge span, 10, 20, 30 years of somebody's life, and you end up losing out on some important pieces that some people might, after watching it, be like, okay, you missed this, or you didn't necessarily get this right, because it was too short, or you kind of blend things together and kind of mix them a little bit to where some people might not like what they're trying to do. But this one, I think, really did a good job focusing in on a few years, which gave you more of an opportunity to emphasize on certain aspects of this time frame, which I thought was really good. I like the movie a lot. I think this is by far The Rock's best performance in a movie. And
not Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, no, I knew you were gonna say that. No, I don't even think I ever watched Tooth Fairy.
Scorpion King?
I did recently watch that, and yeah, way better.
That movie has like terrible CGI.
Yeah, I think it was a product of its time.
I do think the Safdie's movies are more kind of like a character study. You're almost just watching the character. There's not like so much exposition, but it's you're just going through it with the character. And yeah, like you don't know anything that's going to happen in the future for them. You don't really know much. You don't see much of their past or really hear of it. It's just now.
Yeah.
It's very go with the flow.
Yeah. I liked everything about this movie, especially like they definitely got the time frame correct as far as like costume design and settings, and the cinematography was great. It's A24 movie, so I really like A24's like yellow hues and things like that.
They have a lot of like deep contrasting colors, but like if you look in the background, there's always just like little key lights
Yeah,
hanging
and
around.
hair and makeup was done really well, especially towards the end. I thought it was done really, really well, and The Rock just disappears physically, and his acting chops for this movie really shine, and he completely disappeared into the role. Like a lot of times,
Yeah.
you know, like you're constantly in my mind when I'm watching a movie with The Rock. It's like, oh, that's The Rock. Oh, that's The Rock. Oh, that's The Rock. This time, completely just took out the fact that it was The Rock, and I just kept forgetting that it was The Rock.
I was thinking about
And
Jumanji a lot. Watching, I was like, this is the guy. Like, I was thinking of like random, like kind of like cringy ish like lines from Jumanji. I was like, this is the same guy. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. So I'm ready to get into this. Are you?
Yeah. I will say before, if you want to watch a biopic that is similar in this to this style or like kind of getting used to the Safdie style, watch the Michael Fassbender Steve Jobs movie. Did you watch
We
that?
did that? No.
So, they didn't do it, but it's a very similar storytelling style. So the Steve Jobs movie is just about like 3 conferences that he had, and that's it. Of when he had the like the Macintosh, and then whatever the second one. It's just like 3 conferences of 3 inventions. It's not nothing big like the iPhone or like the iPod. I mean, you learn more about the iPod in the movie, but it's just like these 3 big moments in Steve Jobs' life, and they're like the cinematography is like similar-ish to Birdman or The Virtue of Ignorance. It's just long, drawn out, almost theatrical. Like it's very slow, but that's one that's very similar to this. Like if you want to kind of get a gist for what this movie's like, watch that one.
Okay. All right. From this point on, this will be
Spoilers.
spoilers. So we're gonna get into it and talk about everything regarding the Smashing Machine. Where do you want to start first?
I kind of want to start with the theme
Okay.
because I really enjoyed the ending of how Mark Coleman, like they're both kind of like not competing against each other, but it's almost like a friendly like they're like, oh, one of the 2 of us is gonna win. They're just kind of like this is gonna be fun, and then Mark Coleman wins, and he's at the highest high, and then he goes into the locker room, and then he's like excited, and then he did such a great job, just gradually just stops, and then kind of realizes like it's lonely at the top, like you said, and it's almost like he kind of realizes the only way to go from up is to go down. And he's like, oh, this is it. I peaked. I hit the climax.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially like,
And he's just alone.
yeah. And I told you after we watched it that I really liked that specific scene after Mark Coleman had won, and he goes back into the locker room, and the adrenaline kind of subsides, and
you just like watch it just
draw
out of him.
you could clearly see that like it's just he's calmed down because as he's walking to the locker room, he's smiling. He's
like amped up still.
Yeah,
He's like
so-
kind of jittery, and then he like sits down and just
yeah. And as a wrestling fan, a lot of pro wrestlers they talk about their first championship win, and it's kind of like a lot of them always say like they get back most everybody's gone by that point. Nobody's in the back congratulating them, things like that. So there's a lot of photos of people with their first championship, and it's in like the exact same style where they're just kind of sitting with the belt on their lap or around their waist or holding it or something, and they're just like in their minds, it's like it's lonely at the top, and I think that was done really well. I I was waiting for a warrior type event, the movie Warrior, and how it's same concept, tournament style, and Warrior, it's two brothers that end up fighting each other at the end. And so I thought this was going to be the same thing, where it's Mark Kerr, Mark Coleman, who they train together. He's Mark Coleman's Mark Kerr's coach through a lot of his career, and definitely a really good friend to him. And so you think that they're gonna fight at the end, and then it doesn't happen, which I thought was good in a way. Like I'm glad they stayed true to actually what happened instead of um, changing it to make Mark Kerr at the top. So I that ending scene with the tournament itself was done really really well.
And then I really love like how it just keeps flipping back and forth, and we see Mark Kerr like showering after, and he's like smiling and he's really happy, like he's happy that he lost, and it's I know why he did that. It's because I saw an interview a couple weeks ago with Benny Safdie, and he's talking about how someone else that was working on the film with him. I don't want to say who I think it is because I could be wrong, but I think it was the cinematographer. They're watching Rocky 3, and like they just had it on in their one of their houses, and then they were like, "This movie's just really good," and they start talking about like it just looks like cinematography and color wise, it's really good. And then Benny starts talking about how Rocky 1 was so special because he loses the fight. Like he loses, but he won. Like Rocky won, and Apollo was he lost. And so they took a lot of inspiration from that, and I really enjoyed how it got fleshed out in this.
Yeah. It's almost like a huge weight was lifted off of Mark Kerr's shoulders, because throughout the movie he has this very strong mentality of I'm a man, I can't lose, I can't be perceived as weak by anybody. I have to men don't cry, things like that kind of shaped his personality. And when earlier in the movie he loses, but he doesn't really lose, and he's so just has so hard time wrapping his head around that. And I the way it happened, I completely agree with like his mentality. Like he's very frustrated with it because
he's just waiting.
I was frustrated.
He was waiting for them to call it.
Yeah,
and that something like that happened to me during a
Really?
match. I got like fully punched in the face twice during a wrestling match. Ref didn't say anything, and then the next match was the one where I broke my arm and the ref didn't say anything. And I pinned myself and then walked off the mat and was like, "No, he didn't see that."
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So I was like, "But this is some bull." Like he didn't like my arm was messed up, and the ref just let the match keep going.
Yeah, I'll talk about the scene in a minute, but like he was so just irritated with the situation, and so you could see that losing is not an option for him. So like at the end when he lost, and he kind of just changes his mentality a little bit, and you can see just the weight just lifted, and he's I feel like it was better for him in the long run. I think it made him happier. But yeah, that was really good as well. The scene I was talking about was earlier. They had a press conference in Japan for Pride, and they were changing the rules. And I don't know. I'm not a huge MMA person, and I don't know like the history about it or anything like that. So especially Pride, like if anything, I know a little bit more about UFC, but Pride, like I didn't know much about, but they were changing rules, and it seemed like they did it a couple times in the movie, where they said that if the person's on like down in like a fetal position or on their knees or whatever, and you cannot no longer knee on top of the head, which is exactly what happened 5 minutes later in the fight. And Mark Kerr's just getting kneed to the top of the head. The ref's not doing anything, so I was getting irritated. And I'm like, "What is happening?" Then I asked you, I was like, "Didn't they change that like 5 minutes ago?" And so I was glad that they, went back after the fight, and he was like talking. It was like, "Hey, like, no, he hit me. He kneed me in the head. Like, why isn't that happening? Wasn't that like disqualification, or why didn't he stop? The ref didn't stop the fight, and they went and changed it later to a no contest. Was it?
Yeah.
There was a no contest, so I guess neither of them lost, or neither of them won. But even that, like, he was not happy with that decision. He wanted
to win,
to take the win instead of it just being a no contest, which, I mean, he seemed very competitive in itself. So, I mean, from what I understand, Mark Kerr was a very dominant person in the world of MMA. So I can definitely see him being frustrated of just a no contest. Like, I think a lot of people would be okay with, them changing it from a loss to a no contest, but he was not happy with that at all. So
one scene I really enjoyed, though, right after that is when he talks to that guy again, and he's like, "Oh, my knee hurts now," and he goes, "Probably because you hit my head." But that scene where they're like talking, and they're very friendly with each other, I think, like, kind of perfectly, not perfectly, but really well explained, kind of like the art of combat sports, because it's like mano a mano, you against like another dude, like who can kill who, but it's like it martial arts. It's an art, and so it's also it's a bonding experience. Like, once you like have a fight or a match, or you roll with like whoever, it's like a bonding experience. Like, both of you are going against each other, but it's also you against yourself. And how they showed that like brotherly bond that they had now built, because they like went to war with each other. I thought that was really well done, and I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like how they showed that, and they weren't like, "Oh, well, I beat you," or whatever. Like, they showed how like friendly like people are within MMA, and I feel like that's a big misconception. People think that like people in MMA are like rude or like whatever.
Well, I think so it's more so you leave it all out in the cage, the ring, whatever the case may be. You leave it out there. Once you come back, like, you're fine. I think now, though, it feels like more people are. I could definitely see, like, if you look at the press conferences of UFC now, it seems like a lot of fighters actually hate each other. The way they do it. I don't know if that's the case, but like, definitely some stuff that they say is just like off the wall. Like didn't one of UFC fighter talk about somebody's mom in like a very mean or derogatory way, and it was like they definitely got offended by it, and it was not okay.
There's been a lot that were like taken way too far, but I mean, I think that's popularized by like WWE, is having that heated
heel and face bad guy versus
there is some that were like really bad, like Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Like, they were like really they were like really good friends, and like Jorge slept on Colby's couch for a while, and then they like hated each other and then fought, and then but there's also when Colby Covington fought Leon Edwards' dad had recently passed away prior.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember
and then
that.
he was like he said something like he's gonna kill him in the match, and he's like, "Go say hi to your dad in hell for me," or something like that.
Yeah, see, that kind of stuff. That's not okay. It should be.
They do like a lot of times have like conversation of like, okay, this is what you can say, or like this is off limits. And I think when they did have that conversation, and Leon said like that's just totally off limits.
Yeah.
And then someone said something similar to like Demetrius Johnson about his dad.
Okay. Yeah. See, that kind of stuff, like I don't agree with. Like, don't if you have a conversation and be like, yeah, you can use that if you want. I mean, it's not the WWE, so it's not the same. Um, but like, I do think it makes UFC or MMA in general just a little bit more exciting. Like you give the people somebody to root for and somebody to root against. Everybody likes bad guys and good guys.
I think in the UFC, I think that was popularized by the Shall P son and never lost a round, never lost a fight.
Who got a lot of what he does from the WWE.
Like Ric Flair.
Yeah. So
like he had so there's a really popular clip that I guarantee everyone has seen, but they probably just didn't realize it or whatever. But it's him against he was on the Ultimate Fighter for one of the seasons, and he was wait, who was it? He was I don't know why I'm forgetting his name.
Who's going against?
Yeah,
I specifically remember that season, but I can't remember. I don't know his name.
Wow. But I just typed in Shale, and he popped up. Actually, he was in what was really funny is he was in Never Back Down. Not Never Back Down. He was in Here Comes the Boom. And there's this huge joke with like MMA and stuff when he fought Anderson Silva and like dominated the whole fight and then tapped out in the last round. He was like, "Oh, I thought if you tapped out, you lost the round, not the whole fight." And then in the movie, he like taps and goes, "Wait, no, what? That didn't happen."
Oh, that's funny.
What?
I can't find it.
No, I don't know why. I'm having like really bad brain fog today. It was
Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah, wow. So he was on there with Vanderlei, and they were in what was his nickname? The Axe Murderer or something like that. Yeah, they were in Brazil, and Vanderlei started to get like really heated, and then Shea was like, "You need to chill out."
Yeah.
And then they kind of duked it out in the middle of the gym, and then apparently he pulled him aside afterwards, and he's like, "You need to like stop doing this." And he's like, This is a bit. I'm supposed to be the bad guy. You're supposed to be the good guy. Like, I'm intentionally making myself look like the villain. You need to, like, stop. Because otherwise it's just not going to sell the fight.
Yeah.
Mikey and I would, at jiu-jitsu, every single time we'd go, we would, like, when we'd warm up, we'd just be like, what now? He's like, you need to back up.
That's funny. Back to the Smashing Machine.
Yep.
Along the same lines, earlier in the film, he's at the doctor's office, and Mark Kerr's at the doctor's office, and he's talking to the old lady. I really like that scene for some reason. Like, he's so nice and things like that, and he just wants to talk to people. And so he was talking to the old lady, and she asked him, "Don't you guys hate each other?" And he's like, "No. It's pretty much just saying like it's a respect thing. It's you leave it all out there, and then you're." Friends or colleagues or associates or whatever the case may be, sometimes villains, or nemesises.
Nemesi? Is that the plural of nemesis? Is that nemesis?
So. I don't know.
Does nemesis have a plural, or is it just nemesises?
Nemesis. No. But yeah, I like that scene a lot, and I'm glad that they incorporated that
with the little kid that walks in like, "Can I get your autograph?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't fight."
Yes, and I think. Whether that happened or not, I don't know. But I just think it was a good thing to put in for non-MMA fans to watch this movie. So that people can kind of get an understanding of what's going on and understand it a little bit better. The world of MMA itself. And hopefully that people would walk away afterwards liking the movie. So just something about that scene was just so funny.
I like the way he's like talking to her, and he's just kind of like, she's like, isn't that like whatever? Or she's like, don't you guys like throw elbows and stuff? And he's like, yes, we do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to, going off of that, I want to talk about The Rock's performance. The way he does his Mark Kerr's voice, I think is really well. Because there's like a Midwestern accent that Mark Kerr has. And I think for the most part, the Rock nails it. There are some parts where it kind of goes into his normal voice.
Like when he's like screaming, you can hear
Yeah,
the Rock.
yeah,
You can smell what he's cooking.
exactly. And for the most part, he does do that like softer tone and kind of with that accent and the way he talks.
He's like a gentle giant.
Yes, exactly. And I thought he did such a good job with it. And even like the makeup that they used for him was really well done, especially at the end after he shaves his head and after he loses the fight and he's kind of, it's in the trailer. You see him and I don't
one
know.
shot through the ropes.
Yeah. How do they do? Maybe I don't know if you know this or not, but what's the makeup? Because I feel like they put something up here to kind of
For his eyebrows.
yeah. Like what does that look like? Is it like a putty?
So like when they do like if they make a mold for it, then they will like put like a putty around his eyebrow, and then they'll like make like a rubber silicone or like a latex mold that they can just keep reusing. But once they have like that mold, usually they're like a whitish color, and it literally just sits on there, and then they like glue it down, and then just do like your red undertones, your blue undertones, your greens or whatever, and then they just color it in.
Okay. Yeah, it looked really, really good. It definitely didn't look like The Rock at all. Obviously, throughout the movie, yes, it does look like The Rock. And then at the end that's when it's totally different for me.
You would think that he would look more like The Rock when he's bald, but I feel like he looks less like The Rock when he's bald at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and it definitely like whatever makeup they did for it, it did its job.
One issue I didn't think looked great with like the visual effects, I guess, is there's two ones that pointed out, but like I don't really care. Like they don't take me out. Is when he's in the hospital and his teeth are out.
Oh yeah.
He's talking normal, and his lip isn't like inwards.
Yeah, and there's no. I feel like because I think it looked like he busted out the front too. It could have been just one, but there's also usually with that kind of stuff happens. There's also a lisp that happens with it, and
your lip will like curl because your teeth like hold your. That's why like you see people with no teeth, their lips like go inwards. So your teeth like hold up your tooth, so it just looks weird. And the only prop thing issue that I noticed was the door.
Oh yeah,
is he ripped it off a little too easy, and you can literally just see the cardboard.
Yes, yeah, very very obvious.
Yeah, it is like reminiscent of Rampage Jackson crashing out on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, that's
breaking the door.
Immediately, that's what I thought of.
Because he did it like the same way. Because in the Ultimate Fighter, I guess
no, because Mark Kerr punches it, and then Rampage kicks the door. So his foot goes through the door.
Wait, didn't he punch it first and then kick it? Because I thought he like did the same thing. Maybe. Where he fully punched through, kicked it, and then pulled it off.
Yeah,
but like the door looked the exact same. Like it was ripped in half.
Yeah, and it was. I feel like Rampage definitely ripped it just as easy as The Rock did with the cardboard door.
I think The Rock underestimated the door, or like would get a little too into it. So when like he punches through it, like his arm is like fully through, and like he almost fully breaks the door.
Yeah, he goes almost through the wall that's right there. Yeah, that I agree. Those two aspects looked a little like they could have done it a little bit better. Because even like the missing tooth, like it just looks like a black tooth to me. Like you barely see it because there's only like a few milliseconds where you actually see it.
You see it for like a second, and then he laughs a few times. But I really do like that scene with Bass, and he's like, oh yeah, whatever, and he's like, yeah, you don't have to do that, and then he just
Mark Coleman.
Was it Mark Coleman there?
Yeah, it was
Oh
Mark
yeah,
Coleman.
when Mark Coleman's like, you don't have to do that, and then he just loses it.
Or he's like, stop. Like, just stop what you're doing because it's me. You need to talk to me.
Yeah, he's like, I flew all the way down here.
Yeah, talk to me and don't BS me. Just give it to me straight, and like we can move on from there. Like I'm your friend, and we can work this out and stuff. Yeah, you also said that you didn't necessarily like the crying scenes.
Yeah,
because you thought he was you ever a cop out by covering his face every single time.
Like I mean, on I don't know. I think it was like episode 1 or 2 of the Peacemaker podcast.
Yeah.
And they're talking about when John Cena cried, and he was just like fully.
Like he fully cried,
and then James Gunn was like, "Oh yeah, you can just put your head in your hands." Like it's kind of like a cop out thing. Or usually, I mean, there's like menthol sticks, like cry sticks. You just rub it under your eye, and your eyes will water.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's just
isn't there
easy.
like eye drops too?
Yeah. I mean, you could also literally just pour eye drops in your eye and then just start a singing. But and then you said the thing.
Yeah, so I think it works for him to cover his eyes because of the fact that of how Mark Kerr's mentality is, where he's a man's man, you don't cry, things like that. So he wouldn't want to show anybody, especially his buddy Mark Coleman. Like he doesn't, especially in that hospital scene, he doesn't want to show him vulnerable or be perceived as weak, like I said earlier. So him covering his face while he's crying makes a lot of sense for every aspect of this movie.
I think that scene is definitely top 3 for performance-wise from both of them.
Yeah, that scene was super emotional, and I felt really sad.
Yeah, like it just switches.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when I was thinking about it while we were watching it. I was like, there's not a lot of times where I'm watching a biopic type movie for myself that I feel what they're feeling. It's especially like,
and we're just like you're like empathetic about it. Like you understand what's happening, but you as the audience member don't really feel it.
Yeah.
But with this movie, I think it's because of how Safdie directs, you feel like you are there. Like you're like the characters almost feel like they're your friends, and you're like kind of you have to side with them or whatever, which is also what I really liked what they did with Don's character is that they didn't completely like shut her out and not show her side. They showed her side. So it's almost like you're friends with both of them and you can't pick. Like you're like, he did.
It's like, who do I go with in the divorce?
Yeah. It was like he did a lot of messed up stuff to her in the relationship. She did some messed up stuff to him.
And I want to talk about that in depth too, but yeah.
They were both like in the wrong, and it's almost like you're like, oh, I can't pick. They're like both my friends, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple times throughout the movie where I almost got choked up, but I like definitely felt the sadness that was going on in both of all the characters, and especially Mark Kerr. And since you already brought it up, the dynamic between Mark Kerr and Dawn, clearly the entire relationship that they showed was very toxic on both sides. You know, one side, Mark Kerr's side, you have him that kind of does a lot of backhanded things. Where
thanks for making my shake, but it's completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was completely just the way he said things. Like I'm sure in his mind it was made with good intentions, but there's certain things like in a relationship like that you just don't say stuff like that, and you don't say, oh, like I told you, why did you do it like this? I told you that this is how you make my smoothie. But she was like supportive in the way, like, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't know, like I'm sorry, I'll do it better next time, things like that. So the first part is kind of like his toxicness of the relationship, and then later on
we see the effect and like what it's doing to her, and then how she kind of
and then how she is toxic as well. It's kind of more of a subtlety with her though, of her toxicness, of
like she flipped him off when he's cutting the cactus.
Yeah, and just the way she wants to be involved in his fighting life, but
he just doesn't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and it takes. I feel like the way Mark Kerr sees it, it takes away as his dominance of his fighting career with her being there, because it seems like all they do in the movie, all they really do is fight right before he fights or right after, and it's a very toxic environment, and he doesn't need that there. He needs to be focused on the fight, and she kind of makes it about her. There's a few things where she kind of makes the situation about her instead of him, and it should really be about how they both feel, and but at the same time, like, he needs to be supportive of her and what she does, and then she needs to be supportive of his career. If she's going to be there, obviously that takes a lot of time and effort to fly to Japan, and takes a lot of time to be in a camp to get ready for a fight, whether you need to lose weight, gain weight, and just be prepared in all aspects. Maybe change up your fighting style, which it seems like he needed to do at some point. He needed to change up his fighting style. That takes a lot of effort, and there should have been a little bit more give and take between the both of them, but the entire relationship that they showed in the movie was very toxic, and pretty much at the end when or not, I wouldn't say at the end, but when she completely loses it, and
like breaks the bowl,
and she grabs the gun after he tells her to get out, like that. I was shocked.
That scene was insane.
Yes, I was shocked, and
we were both like,
yeah, I didn't like. Obviously, I don't know Mark Kerr's story. I was not familiar with it going into this. I tried to stay away from looking up real facts or anything like that. I wanted to wait till after the movie, so I didn't really know his story. So I wasn't sure if she actually did that or not. So when she pulled the gun out and did it, like the way she was about to do it, it completely looked like she was gonna do it without any hesitation whatsoever. And so luckily Mark Kerr got there, saved her from that, and then immediately goes into the bathroom and starts rubbling, going through the pills, and you can hear it. And I'm glad that he like broke down the door and like saved her from that. And that entire sequence was just so emotional, and it was a lot to handle.
Yeah, that was a hard scene to watch.
Yeah, it was a very hard scene to watch.
But it's just so well done. Like, it's just one drawn out shot. It must have been a pain to shoot.
Probably, yeah.
It must have been taking a while. But I do think that the relationship was like paradoxical in a way, because like she wants to be involved and she wants to understand, but he doesn't want that. So in that case, she doesn't understand. That's why she almost treats fighting as a hobby. She's like, so what, you lost a fight? Or like, she's like, so what, it's just a fight. And she doesn't understand because he won't let her. And then he gets upset that she wants. It's weird.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's like this endless loop.
The communication really wasn't there. And I think a lot of it had to also do with like his addiction. And like at first he's trying to hide it, and then he kind of gets comfortable and doesn't hide it anymore.
Yeah, she's like, you're literally just leaving it out.
Yeah, and he kind of gets inside himself and doesn't really open up to her. There's complete lack of communication between the two of them, and yeah, it's the relationship was definitely a rocky one, and the emotional tones that they use in this movie really hit the spot.
Same with like because he won't like tell her what's happening, she doesn't understand, like when she's taking like Advil or whatever it was. He's like, I just got out of rehab, like come on. And then she's like, I don't she's like, you don't tell me these things. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, also like she didn't with that aspect, I feel like she didn't bother to care that that he had just gotten out of rehab and he was addicted to painkillers and things like that. And it it seemed like she didn't care to understand what goes into a recovering addict.
She just tried so long that she was just like, I don't care at this point.
Yeah, it was.
There wasn't like a
they
reciprocated effort.
Yeah, they were. I think in all honesty, there could have been a lot more communication between the two, but the way they perceived it in the film was done really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the questions and then we can go into like the score?
Let's go into the score and sound design because I have that literally right here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Score, amazing. Awesome. Loved it. I love all of the Safdie scores.
Mm-hmm.
They're all amazing. I'm really excited for the score for Marty Supreme.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I love the Good Time score. I mean, I really like that movie a lot because of the reminiscence of Michael Mann's Thief.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the score, it's still reminiscent with it. And Thief is probably my favorite score of all time.
Okay.
And I just like the piercingness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then same with Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is a more fleshed out and kind of like, it was just more of Good Time score. Like it was more comfortable, I guess. And then this one, I kind of was a blend of a newish type of style between those two, and then almost like a nostalgic-ish type. And I love the score.
Yeah.
Safdies just do great with the score.
Yeah, I agree. The score is done really well. So the music is ambient and experimental, featuring drones, minor key orchestration, and minimal melodies. So I think it really fit with what they were trying to do, and the score underscores the film's psychological tone more than action rhythms. So during the fight scenes, like it's not an action type of sound; it's more psychological and kind of gives you more of an emotion towards what's going on in the fight.
Yeah.
Which I think that also helps with the non-MMA fans to kind of pay more attention, I guess, to what's happening.
And I do think one thing I really love about their scores is how a lot of times movies use the score or use the song to tell the story, which is fine, but you shouldn't do it every time. Their movies bring out the emotion. They use it as a tool to bring it out, and they don't really use it like a Edgar Wright or like a Sergio Leone where it's on beat, it's on time with the action, because like those kind of add to it, whereas this score more draws it out, which just I love the Safdie's film work, and I do love how like hands on they are, because I feel like no one ever talks about this. Benny and Josh Safdie, like for Good Time, wrote, directed, starred, edited, literally like hands on everything. And Benny and Josh with Josh is upcoming, and then Benny's current, like they're still just like the probably most like hands on, like, and edited both, but like they're just so involved with everything. Not saying a director isn't involved with everything, but they are fully in control of their vision and they can fully flesh it out. And that's got to be so stressful, like being that hands on, especially being the editor, because your movie isn't made like, you don't shoot it and like, oh, you got all the tones or whatever. The movie is made in the editing room. You just kind of have the tools. What you shot is the tool, and in the editing room is where you build it. And just awesome, especially that like the first shot, like with that like found like the camcorder looked so just.
It was like you looked up that
you just
specific
looked up
thing on YouTube.
Mark Kerr's first professional fight.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm glad they included that. That was done really well.
It was a really good transition into the dramatized cinematic version of the story that we were going to see.
Yeah, definitely. Sound design.
Sound design. The punches, realistically, getting hit in the face with a glove doesn't sound that cool.
No.
It's
Well,
like it doesn't like the audio, like the actual sound effect isn't like that cool. But this one is very like kind of like it almost just sounds. It sounds like a bare knuckle fight almost, like very just bone to bone, just
yeah,
like hard.
I think the fight sequences, the sound, punching, kicking, and stuff like that, I thought was more real. Like sounded more
Yeah,
real
it sounds more
than
real, but like it's the legit sound of getting
yeah.
hit in
No,
the glove
it's
isn't that cool.
no.
Like it just sounds like you just took two gloves and hit them.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they kind of used the realism of it
Mm-hmm.
and didn't make it sound like some action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even like in WWE, like when they throw punches or kicks or something, they slap something on themselves to kind of emphasize that sound.
Yeah, when like
And
they kick or
yeah,
like,
so sometimes it doesn't sound like that's what it should sound like. But this movie definitely incorporated like the sound design of the fight scenes really well with you know the grunts, the crowd noise. Like the crowd noise wasn't overbearing, but you could
mm-hmm.
still see it. I want to know um, what.
You don't really see much of the crowd shots actually, because they're
No, it's
just
more
like
so in the tournament you do.
yeah, it's almost just like this is the fight. Don't get distracted. Almost like you almost feel like you're in the fight.
Yeah, and something I want to know, and then I'll look it up later. But the like when they're in Japan, you could clearly see the Japanese crowd very excited and doing a lot of cheering and things like that. But when it comes to wrestling, when wrestlers go to Japan, a lot of them talk about, maybe it's different now, but a lot of them talk about how like they don't know what's happening with the crowd, like if the crowd is liking it, because they're quiet. They're not. They're just enjoying what's happening. Whereas like any other place in around the world with wrestling crowds, like they're loud and they do a lot of cheering, booing, things like that. But the Japanese crowds, from what I understand, as far as pro wrestling goes, they don't do that. So I wonder if this movie got that right, if they really did do a lot of cheering for MMA, or if it would have been if it's really more so like how I know of wrestling crowds in Japan. But
I think it's probably. I think it. I think they did that because I don't think they wanted to have like exposition for why they were quiet. I
yeah,
think that's just like a cultural thing.
I think so. Yeah,
But because it would have been weird if all the fights that he had in Japan, if it was just dead silent,
yeah,
and then they had to be like, "Well, this is why."
mm-hmm.
So I think they probably just didn't want to do the exposition for it.
Probably.
But you want to talk about the fight choreography now, or do you want to do that after?
We can do it now.
I do. Okay, I've seen a lot where people don't like the fight choreography that much, but I think it was. It's a little. It's more realistic. I will say that when The Rock is throwing punches, because he's just so big, he's just slow
Mm-hmm.
and just a little awkward because of how big he is. But I don't think that they wanted to put so much emphasis on the fights because the fighting is not the real story here. That's not the
No.
real fight,
No.
and I think that they didn't want to make it so much of a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to distract you from the real fight.
Yeah,
So they kind of dumbed it down a little bit.
Like that. Yeah,
Not dumbed it down, but they kind of simplified it and showed a little less.
but also,
But there was legit moves in there, obviously.
yeah. Also,
which is
the the fights themselves were relatively short,
Mhm.
so which was good. Like it didn't. It always seemed like with the first. I don't know if Mark Kerr got first round wins all the time, but most of them were like done in the first round. It seemed like, or they didn't really focus on like the length of fights and stuff like that to keep time for the rest of the movie, of course. But I like the short bursts of the fights that because you know what's going on and then you kind of just leave it at that, and then just so you could get back to the real story, which was done great, I think. I want to talk about what The Rock did to train for this because The Rock is massive in this movie.
Yeah, he is huge.
He is massive, and I think he said that like he got big, and then Benny Safdie was like, "Hey, I need you to get bigger." So like it's probably one of the biggest he's been ever. I think
Definitely,
he's just so bulky. Like that's what.
definitely also like the leanest.
I don't know. So all right. So from what I understand, um, they started filming this movie in 2023. No, 2024. Last year. Right after WrestleMania 40. So The Rock was a part of WrestleMania. Him and Roman Reigns tagged together. They trained together and for 12 weeks. So The Rock helped Roman get into like the best shape of his life. Like Roman looked crazy. And so The Rock was in really good shape for WrestleMania 40. And then immediately after, he went to go train to get in shape for this film. So he was already in really, really good shape compared to like what he has been over the last couple of years, and then um, definitely packed on a lot of muscle. I think if you compare his physique for this film and then his physique in Black Adam, I think this one like he still looks bigger in this one because Black Adam like he trained so hard so that he didn't have to use padding for Black Adam, but so he got really big for that one. But I think this one like I think takes the cake for as big as he is. So I guess he I looked this up just so I could have it. The Rock underwent a dramatic transformation using extensive prosthetics, reportedly over 20 pieces daily, to match Mark Kerr's distinct look. So his physical conditioning was adapted to reflect Kerr's massive yet deteriorating physique in his prime and post-prime years. To emphasize character over charisma, Johnson delivers a muted, introspective performance, drawing from Kerr's real-life vulnerability. So he definitely I think he definitely put in the proper time and effort, and I'm glad he cared so much about this because they're friends in real life. So I'm glad he cared a lot about this. Um, and you said that him and Mark Kerr actually debuted in their perspective
Yeah, like
fields.
3 months apart
Yeah,
in the same city.
yeah, and I wonder if Mark Kerr got a huge like I wonder if everybody liked him immediately because the wrestling fans did not like The Rock when he first debuted. He was Rocky Maivia at the time.
I forgot about it earlier, but the first time, so the first scene is Mark Kerr fighting, and then after that, he's wearing this like short sleeve like turtleneck thing. And I was just thinking about the Rock meme with him in the fanny pack with the turtleneck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
too. I wonder if he's gonna do the
pose. Yeah, the pose on the windowsill or whatever it was.
The railing or whatever.
Yeah. That I did think of that too. All right. So I want to talk about what they got right and what they got wrong, and then we can go into some of the questions that I had.
I have some questions for you too.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. So obviously with a biopic, not everything is completely 100% accurate. If that was the case, it would just be a documentary. So they obviously have to change things to kind of dramatize things and make people actually want to watch the movie and get into it. So what the film got right, Mark Kerr's dominance in MMA during its wild, unregulated era, his deep struggles with addiction and identity, his relationship with Dawn as a central emotional driver, the chaotic, often dehumanizing nature of early MMA, which I really didn't think in the film it really showed that too well.
I hope Emily Blunt gets nominated for stuff.
Yeah.
For this movie because she did really, really good.
Yeah, we could talk about our predictions on that as well because I definitely think this film will get nominated for a few things. And then the physical, emotional cost of fighting outside the cage or ring, as this one mostly was. I think the film only showed him in a cage one time. So they dipped their toe into the UFC part of it and then kind of left it, and which was nice because it feel like most of the story should have revolved around him and Pride.
I don't like the MMA cage.
Really?
Because they utilize it too much in the fight to where like half the fight is just against the cage. Mm-hmm. I do think the karate combat like bowl is weird. They literally like fight in a bowl.
Oh,
that's cool. Yeah. I think that's good. But I mean, like they fight in a ring a lot of the times, most of the time.
All right. So some things that were fictionalized or compressed. Events are not presented chronologically. Many scenes are fragmented or metaphorical. I would like to know which ones actually were not. Some characters are composites or minimized for narrative focus. Makes sense.
Like Bass and the other Mark.
Certain aspects of Kerr's post-fighting life are omitted. I mean, it's literally just like you said, looking into a window of his life. So there's a lot to his story that they just only covered a small portion of. So,
like, one thing I've seen a lot of people say is they wanted more from this. That is the point of Safdie's directions, both of them. Like they leave you wanting more. Like you want to see more.
Yeah.
That's the point of the movie. That's why it makes it good.
Like at the end, like yes, I did kind of want more, but I was so pleased with the short time frame that they used.
Yeah,
and I think that way. It makes these biopics a little bit better.
It's what's that quote that Vision said in Age of Ultron? Something is beautiful not because it lasts forever, but
whatever.
Whatever
that quote is. Yeah,
that's how I feel about watching a Safdie movie.
Okay. Specific career events, fights, titles are downplayed in favor of internal beats. We've talked about that. Dialogue and interpersonal dynamics are dramatized for emotional texture rather than factual recreation.
I mean,
It's typical. The film resists typical biopic tropes, focusing less on public legacy and more on personal collapse and vulnerability. And nailed it. It nailed it. I think I have a few more. So here's a few more regarding the fighting style. So in the film specifically, fights are edited for mood and pacing, often shown in fragments. Camera angles obscure clean action. Shots through fencing or ropes evoke distance rather than immersion.
I will say The Rock did like capture Mark's wrestling style like perfectly. Like if you watch Mark Kerr wrestle, like The Rock like had it perfectly. Like it's so strange.
Nice. Okay. The choreography is gritty and unpolished, but stylized to express emotional beats. Makes sense. Less emphasis on clean finishes or sports drama tropes, more on brutality and disorientation. So in reality, Kerr's real fights were losing, exhausting, and grappling heavy. Or his real fights were long, not losing. I don't know why I read it like that. They were long, exhausting, and grappling heavy. Early MMA rules were minimal. Headbutts and stomps were legal in some promotions. Fighters relied on brute force, pain tolerance, and ground control over cinematic movement. Kerr's wrestling-based style was efficient, but not visually dramatic by modern standards. So, yeah.
Also, the posters for this movie, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I like them too.
I like the posters a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go through a few more. Reality or fictionalized. So reality, Kerr's duality, physically dominant, emotionally fragile, his addiction struggles and their impact on his career. Don's complicated presence in his life, which I thought was done great. And some things I already talked about that. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Before we get into questions, I keep remembering stuff about this movie. The very end. Having the real life Mark Kerr grocery shopping. I don't know why, but I found it so satisfying.
I liked that a lot. One of my friends did not.
Really?
Yeah, he thought that was dumb.
So
He was mocking it when he left.
oh. So I like it a lot, especially because like a lot of biopics, there are several biopics where the person that they're using,
They'll just show like a picture at the end.
yeah, or like they're not alive anymore, things like that. So but Mark Kerr is alive and well, and so and he actually was helping with this film, obviously. So to have him kind of have a little cameo at the end is a nice touch to a compelling story, and just like him waving at the camera and saying bye
Yeah, he's
was
like, see ya.
so satisfying, because kind of for me just kind of shows like he's doing well
Mm.
after the things that he went through. He's doing well and stuff like that. Another thing that I like about biopics is when they show real life pictures at the end, which there was a lot. Like
Mm.
you got to sit through the whole credits.
Yeah, which
Normally, it's just like
yeah.
a handful of pictures at the beginning, and then it goes more into the credits. So that was
I did
good.
say it reminded me of Gus Van Sant's My Own Private Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
When the movie ends, there's a title card that pops up that just says "Have a good day." That was weird. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, kind of reminded me of that. But
Mm.
yeah, I like the ending.
Yeah,
I liked it a
did
lot.
too. All right, now we can get into some questions. So you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. It's very gentlemanly of you.
Ladies
right.
first.
Okay, now you ruined it. Did the film's fragmented, impressionistic approach help or hurt your emotional connection to Kerr's story?
I think it helped
Why?
because it like it just kind of played on the emotion of it, and they're just kind of getting the emotion out of it rather than like this is what happened, here's what happened, here's what happened, like a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It almost played into the emotion of Kerr's life without like veering off. So yeah.
No, I agree. It definitely. So yeah, some things were fragmented, but they really wanted to emphasize the emotional toll that addiction had on his life, the toxicity of his relationship with Dawn. They really wanted you to feel that and understand it, and I think they nailed it as far as that. And I definitely think it definitely helped my emotional connection to the movie and his story itself.
Mm.
How does this version of Dwayne Johnson compare to his usual screen persona? Did he disappear in the role?
I wouldn't say disappeared. I'd say totally just completely vanished. Like there was rarely any time where I'm like, that's The Rock.
Mhm.
It almost felt like Tom Hardy as Bane.
Yeah.
Like still watching The Dark Knight Rises, I still can't see it. I still can't like register like that's Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And this not quite fully there, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's The Rock.
Yeah. So it's different than any, like there's that funny meme where it's like four different movies of The Rock, but he's almost wearing the same thing.
Yeah, like that
And
green
he acts, yeah.
shirt thing that he
Yeah.
wore in Journey to
Jumanji.
Jumanji 2,
Yeah.
and then like
Probably like Fast and Furious.
yeah,
Something like that. Yeah. It's like he just plays himself in most of his films. So this one, he took a big leap in completely changing what he does, and I think he nailed the landing on it and did a fantastic job.
I think I think it was a good step in the right direction for his acting.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I definitely think so. I think we've talked about it before. Should sports biopics prioritize dramatic fidelity or narrative clarity?
Both. I don't think it should be one set in stone because you have to have a yin and yang. Because otherwise, then there's just going to be this whole thing of like sports movies that are like, like Queen of the Ring is a movie about wrestling, but like him is not a movie about football.
No.
It has football in it.
Yep.
Not really, but it has football in it. You have to have the contrast. That's why you can't. Not every movie can be a perfect masterpiece. You have to have a yin and yang. You have to have the good, the bad, dramatized, the drawn out, the subjective and the objective. Kind of like how like F1 is a very objective looking movie than compared to like Rush.
Okay.
Like Rush is very like subjective looking. Like you have to have both.
Okay. All right. Does the Smashing Machine provide insight into early MMA history, or does it use the sport as a backdrop for a personal breakdown?
Uh, Mostly the personal breakdown, but it does have some insight on what UFC was like before.
Yes, I especially with like in Japan with them changing the rules or adding more rules to the sport itself, and it's like they didn't dive too deep, which was good because it's not a movie about the sport of MMA or the history of MMA. It's the sport about or it's the story about Mark Kerr. So like even like they didn't even really touch on training camps or
Like
like
weight
the amount of
cuts.
the amount of time it takes to get into the proper mindset, training, physique, things like that for a specific fight. So I think it definitely used it more so as a backdrop than anything else. And finally, how might this film change perceptions of MMA for those unfamiliar with the sport's origins? Now, keep in mind, like this, when this, the weekend that it opened, it was probably The Rock's lowest opening box office weekend. So, like, what could you say to non MMA fans that they wouldn't go see it because they think it is about MMA
It's.
itself?
I mean, this is. I mean, it's just a story about tragedy, like a Shakespearean story about tragedy. And that's what it is, and it has themes of MMA. But like, I mean, I guess you could say I don't really want to use a sports movie as an example, but okay, Reservoir Dogs is not a movie about a heist. A heist happens, but it's a movie about the aftermath. And it has the elements of a heist movie, but it is not a heist movie at all. Or, yeah, I feel like that's probably the best example that I could probably give.
Okay.
But this is really off topic, but I've just been thinking this the whole time, talking about the rules and stuff. Recently, UFC allowed a 12 to 6 elbow, which is like this.
Oh, okay.
Which is also called the crack in the coconut. Yeah.
Okay.
Just random thought.
Okay. All right, that's all my questions. What do you got?
Compared to other MMA movies, where does this stand for you? By as an audience and as a critic, like your favorite compared to what you think is the best. So, I know your favorite is going to be Never Back Down.
Yes, close second would be Warrior, but I don't think I could rope this movie in with them. I think okay, so Never Back Down, absolutely not. I don't think I could mix or have those two in the same conversation as far as like comparing them or anything like that. I think Warrior is a better example to kind of be in the same category as just like the tragedy of everything in the movie Warrior and kind of the two brothers kind of coming together. One hates the other. They're trying to come together, and it's just not working between the two. I think that one, even like the two brothers had like this toxicity between the two of them. Same thing with Kerr and Don. Like they had the toxicity between the two of them. So that's kind of like the parallel between the two movies. But we've said it multiple times, this movie isn't necessarily an MMA movie. It's Mark Kerr's story, and it just happens to have MMA in it because that's what he did.
It's almost kind of like, it'd be like trying to compare him with like Rudy or like Varsity Blues. Because it just doesn't, it's just weird. But I would pair this movie with like Iron Claw.
Yes. That, and I mean, again, like Never Back Down, Warrior, those are two fictional movies. And this is a biopic. So definitely like Iron Claw and Smashing Machine have this huge emotional tragedy. I, I think Iron Claw takes it as far as like how bad it is, this like the tragedy itself, compared to the Smashing Machine. Um, but like they both have like their highs and lows in this film.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think a better category for it to just be in is just to stay in the biopic instead of going into MMA movies. So, and really, I mean, Never Back Down. Like the first one was good, the other ones were complete garbage. So,
Did you ever watch Embattled?
no.
It's based on basically warrior, except it's a father and son.
Oh, okay.
It was okay. It was all right.
Did you ever watch that show, the MMA show? It had Nick Jonas in it and Mark Grillo.
Mm-mm.
What is it called? What is it called? Show. Kingdom.
Yep.
Yep. You should watch that. That's a crazy show. I'm kind of not happy that the way it ended because I feel like it wasn't renewed for another season, so it kind of needed to end. But yeah, great show.
So yeah, that's
Oh, that was it.
yeah.
Okay. Final thoughts.
Go watch it. If you don't like it, didn't really. Yeah, I just don't think you understand it, or you just might not like Safdie's direction.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Safdies, both of them are probably my favorite. Not favorite, but one of my favorite like working directors, writers. Benny now actor.
Mhm.
So I'm excited for Marty Supreme. I'm excited for whatever the lizard thing Benny's doing.
Oh yeah.
Now.
The lizard, or with the chicken man, the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the rock. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This film was done really well. I think it encompassed a lot of realism to it, and I definitely think it nailed that specific portion of Mark Kerr's life. I'm still kind of going through like his story in real life, and I so far from what I've seen, this movie does a great job. So definitely go see it. It's even if you don't like UFC, MMA, things like that, definitely go watch it because it's a really great story.
I gave it 4 stars, and I think I'm gonna stick with 4.
Same here. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, I don't know what it is this month. I think everything I've watched this month, I've given 4 stars except for 1.
Nice.
So I don't know if that means I wouldn't say it's maybe a good thing. Yeah, I gave They Live, Matrix, Batman, Hateful Eight, Good Time, Smash Machine, and Roofman 4s. And the only one I didn't was Law Abiding Citizen.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's our review on the Smashing Machine. Like I said, go watch it. It's good. You can see our website in the show notes, and stay tuned for movie news on Friday.
You want to say Tuesday's episode?
No.
Okay. Winning is the best feeling there is. 40,000 people cheering you on. There's no other high like it in the world.